Hey, eCamm fam. This is Bradley Teaches. Wanted to make sure everybody is here. We're getting logged in. We got any early comers? Let me know. Just chime in. Let me know who you are and where you're coming in from. This is the 5-minute early call. See who's the early folks this time around. Let me know that you're here. Let me turn off all my stuff. Let's get this thing turned off. All righty. All right, so we're good to go. Just let me know that you're here. Let me check these things, make sure we're good to go on all of these. And that I can see myself. There I am. That's good. All right. All right, y'all. Yeah, this is the 5-minute call. Okay, I do not want to mess your name up, so I'll just show your name. Carlanti. Let me know if I did that right. Carlanti Wallace, welcome. How's it going, Marcus? Good to see you. Got the video file in the house again. South Dakota, thank y'all for checking in. So today I only have one question in the queue. So if you have questions, go ahead and you can start dropping them in now. That starts off with a Q or the word question. So I can get to them today. And let me check on, are you all looking at me right now through the eCamm YouTube channel or my YouTube channel? So I don't really need to check both to make sure that they're working. Hey, South. Oh, Fort Worth in the house. Okay, that is, potentially 20 or 30 miles from me. I am in near Denton. So yeah, we're neighbors, Inga. So pleasure to have you here. See who else we got. We got Todd in the house. Got Janelle, Vincent in the house. Let's see what this message we have right here. Coming in from Virginia. Cool. Love hearing that, Brian. Love hearing that. Good to go, y'all. Yeah, so that's awesome. eCamm, all right. Oh, wow, watching from Brazil. What time is it where you are right now in Brazil? Let me know when we have some folks from South America and other places. And we had some folks chiming in from Australia before. So yeah, let me know what time zone you're in, how big of a difference we're working with right now. Cool. From Ohio. YouTube. Okay, Inga's coming in from YouTube. All right, y'all. So if you have any questions, eCamm live page. Good. All right. So that means it's working over there. So right now, I'm only going live on my YouTube channel, which is Bradley Teaches, and the eCamm YouTube channel. I only really advertise for the eCamm channel. My channel is kind of the extra one in this mix. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys coming through. And yeah, but if you want to subscribe to my channel, just jump over to Bradley Teaches. You can do a YouTube search for that, and you'll see my face there. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel for some other things that I'm doing, some tutorials and things, which include Keynote, eCamm. I am starting to do some Canva tutorials. So interesting question. We'll see if we can do that. I'm gonna have to think about that. A circle that fills up clockwise. See if we can do that. Let's see if we can make that happen. That is a good question, Marcus. We'll try that one. All right. So we are about less than a minute away from the official start. Let me see. Carlanta. Okay. Ta instead of T. Okay. Carlanta. Cool. All right. Like that. Cool name. All right. Let's see. All right. Hey, Ladybird TV. Birdie Lynn. Oh boy, how to make that completely different than what that was. Birdie Lynn TV, not Ladybird. Birdie Lynn TV. Okay. All right, y'all. So it is 2:00 right now, our official start time. And as usual, I'm gonna let you guys know I am Bradley or Bradley Teaches, and we are in the eCamm Video Graphics Workshop. It's the weekly workshop class powwow session, whatever we want to call it, that I do right here on the eCamm channel on YouTube and the Bradley Teaches YouTube channel. We go through and I'll try to answer your questions about graphics, usually related to Keynote, but I can do some general graphics things too. And now I actually do Canva tutorials. So if you got a Canva question, maybe we can try that out. I am new to Canva though, still kind of, kicking the tires on that. So we'll see how that goes. And just kind of working it out. Okay. So this is kind of a workshop time. So if there's something that you guys are working on, you need help with, if there's a video you would like me to review, some graphics you done that you would like me to see and review or whatever else, that's what this is for. So I'm going to go to the very first question that I have first, right? That was in the queue from the form. And it's already been answered, but I think other people might have a similar question. But Jose asked the question today about how to make a text box similar to the text box that is in this graphic and was wondering if Keynote could do it. And of course it can. So what I'm going to do is show you how to make custom shapes, I guess the best way to say it, in Keynote. So let's jump into Keynote real quick and do that. And we're going to kick this thing off in full gear. All right, so let's make a new presentation. And I'll select all, delete. All right, so for the graphic that Jose had, right, it was a rectangle with a little down pointing corner. And essentially, all you have to do to make custom shapes is in this format palette. I'm going to show you a few things, different things you can do to create custom shapes from multiple other shapes, right? So this first shape we're going to make is that custom text box. So we'll start off with the rectangle. And y'all let me know if y'all can hear that lawnmower noise, because it is extremely loud to me. Because the lawn care people out there mowing yards in the winter, there's no grass growing anyway. But I can hear it, but typically you guys can't hear it, but it's almost annoying to me. So let me know if you can hear it or not. But anyway, all right, so we start off with the rectangle. And then for that little point down area, that's going to be a triangle. So now I'll pick a triangle, right? And so essentially what it was, because the angle kind of pointed down, we need to change the angle of the triangle. And from what I understand, it's about 315 to make that back end get straight up and down, right? So we slide this over the other part here so they line up like that. That's essentially the shape, right? But you want this to be its own custom shape. So all I do now is select all the pieces, go to Format, Shapes and Lines, Unite Shapes. So now that's one whole custom shape that I can style how I want to. I'll put no fill on it, add a border, and there we go. So there's the custom shape that Jose was talking about, right? You can use, so a good way to think about making shapes with Keynote is to think about any shape that you want to create, kind of like building with Legos, right? So if I'm going to build a car shape, what is that? Rectangles and two circles, right? Then another rectangle on the top with angles on the edge, right? So you want to think about what pieces it would take to make a shape, then just go to the Format, Shapes and Lines palette, and you can unite shapes, you can subtract shapes from another, because that's how we make a overlay, right? It's basically a rectangle with another shape subtracted from it. So you can use that same technique to build shapes, right? So here's that text box, right? So we're good to go. And so now let's build another shape just to build one. We can build, so if we wanted to make a homemade cloud, I don't know. So Option, drag. So we want to make our own little thought bubble, right? And so let's make put a triangle with that one and change the arrangement, change the angle here. Right, so maybe we make our own little thought bubble kind of thing, right? Selected all those pieces. then we go to Format, Shapes and Lines, Unite Shapes. And now that's one shape, right? So that's a way to create custom shapes, draw all the shapes that you want like puzzle pieces and unite them. So say for instance, I like this shape, but I want to cut something out of it, right? The same rules apply. We can go to another thing here. Let's just go to this funny hat. Let's make it a different style. So now we're, I don't know, the cloud hat company, who knows? All right, so I have the cloud with the hat in it. And now I go to Format, Shapes and Lines, Subtract Shapes, right? So now just cut a shape out of a shape. And you can do that with any shape in the shapes palette, right? You can combine shapes, you can cut shapes out of shapes and make new shapes that way, right? So that is that. So hopefully that was helpful to you, Jose. I answered this question for him earlier in another group, but I wanted to bring it here because some people, think that all you can have is rectangles or curved edge rectangles or circles with Keynote. You can pretty much make any shape that you can combine other shapes to create, right? So all those things are available to you. All right, so appreciate that, Yank Nation, official Yank Nation. All right, so we're going to workshop out Marcus's question now. Can you make a circle that is filling clockwise? Let me see. Yep, I can try to do that too, Inga. I can do that real quick for you. All right, so we're trying to figure out how to make a circular filling shape. There's no radial fill. That's the problem, right? So we have a circle. I'm thinking about this the same way I would think about it if I was trying to do it, right? So we have a shape here, and we basically want to animate this in a radial fashion. So first, let's see if there's an animate built in that may fit that. Orbital, I don't think that's it. No. So because we have a iris, but the iris is either in or out, right? And that's not good. So spin wouldn't do it. Nope, that's not the kind of spin we want. I'm trying to think of what kind of animation would help with this that we could add with something else. So we have a wipe, right? So let's see something real quick. So we have wipe, and if we did an angled wipe, no, because we want the angle to go in a circle. Fill with a clockwise fashion, because we can rotate things, right? We can spin things. So say if I had, let's do this again, and I'm going to option. I'm going to cut a wedge out of this shape. So let's go to Format. Oh, come on. I'm going to cut a wedge out of this shape, right? And Format, Shapes and Lines, Subtract. All right. So we have a wedge. And if we filled in the wedge or had the wedge rotate, but then the color would, I don't know. There's probably a way to do it. I'm trying to think now if there's a way to kind of see if I put this on a pivot point and rotated it around, it would cover up so much of the image as you go, but then you still have the rest of the image that doesn't have the color. Yeah, I got to give that one some more thought. Let me think about that one a little bit, Marcus. Let me think about that a little more. All right, so Inga is asking, I made a plain lower third to put in my live stream in eCamm. I brought it in. Yeah, Very simple problem that you have, right? Here's your issue. Nothing is clicked on your slide, right? So you have the slide you're designing on. What you have to do now is go to Format, Background, No Fill. Don't fill it with black, fill it with no fill. Now, in Keynote, it looks black, but it's actually transparent right now. So now if I do my basic lower third, I'll just do a couple of rectangles. So rectangle 1, rectangle number 2. Right, here's my basic lower third. Now the background looks black, but it's actually transparent. And to show that to you, so File, Export to Images, and I'm going to make it a PNG. That's another thing you have to watch out for, because even if you made the background transparent, but you save the graphic as a JPEG file, the background will be solid. It won't be transparent because JPEGs can't have transparency. So you want to make sure you have a PNG and export with transparent background. So I'll go to Next and Desktop. Let's put it in my junk drawer, and I'll call this bar 2. All right, so I guess that's saved really quick. Who knows? All right, so I'm gonna go back to my junk drawer and go back to my main screen, bar number 2, and there we are, right? And I'll turn off my bubble, right? So that's that lower third. So you have to make sure that you have no fill on your slide, and then when you export it as a PNG, and then that way you are good to go. Now, if it's animated, you have to make sure you export the animation as an Apple ProRes 4444 that then has a transparent background. So that is it, right? Slide with no fill, export as PNG. All right, so there we go. Oh, hide that again. Great, got that answer. Okay, y'all. And I'm going to workshop out this fill a circle with a rotation and see how I can make that happen, Marcus. All right, y'all. Any more questions? Let's see. And maybe I'll workshop that some more while we wait on the next question too. But I'm thinking a rotating, let's see, you still have that back image that has to do it. Now, if no, that wouldn't work either. I'm trying to think of how the rotational fill. It's not defaulted in for sure. There is no rotational fill option, right? But what you want to do is have a pie wedge or a shape that moves that then reveals the background, right? Yeah, I guess there's a way to do it, but I don't know if it can be done with a transparent background, right? Because the way I'm thinking about it now, I'd have a shape and then you'd use the same color as the background to mask it, right? And then just rotate the mask to reveal more and more of the shape. Yeah, so that's one way that could be done. But yeah, but then there's no transparent background behind the circle, which eliminates the purpose of it, right? All right, y'all, let's see. All right, y'all. So yeah, I don't know. I'll let y'all pretty much run these shows, right? So if there's no questions that you guys have, anything you're kind of working on, I will make this the shortest eCamm graphics workshop in history so far. So let me guys know what you might be working on right now. Now, someone sent me or asked me to review their video, but didn't send a link to the video. So I can't review your video today. But all right. Yep, that no fill thing, that's always a gotcha. That can get you, right? no fill on the background, and make sure you export as a PNG file. That'll definitely do it. All right, y'all. Any more questions? Anything you're working on? Anything that you have seen me do that you have tried to duplicate that you've had some issues with that I can maybe work out for you? So let me know about all those things, right? I'm actually going to take a screen capture of myself real quick because it's something I need to adjust later on. Might as well do a little work on that while I'm working, right? All right, so, all right, y'all. I don't want to cut y'all loose, but I will if y'all don't have anything. Now, so let me see. Some things that I've worked on recently are, let me just show you some stuff I'm working on, right? Let me see. Let me just show you something that I'm working on. Do you like the lower third I have happening right now? Yeah, I can show you how to make that. I call that my Bradley bubble. And I can show you guys how to make that real quick if you're interested in that. No problem at all. I can, okay. Pepper tree. I can show you how to make one of these real quick. How do I make a quick Bradley bubble? Let's do that. All right. So let's go back here and Keynote. And I'm going to turn mine off so I can show you how I make it. All right. We're going to build the new one on the right-hand side over here away from my picture. All right. All right. So let's go. And basically all this is, now my version has 3 or 4 layers in it, but I'm gonna show you how to make a couple of layers. All right. So mine is a rounded box. And let's drag it out, put a little more arc on the corner. All right. So a rounded box. Let me go out a little bit. There we go. So whatever shape you want. So first you make the box. I'm gonna make it bigger than I need to just for the sake of demonstration. There we go. All right. So you have a rounded box here. And now all that's left is to put your content in it and animate it. So it being off the edges of the screen is no big deal, but there's another way to make a cleaner box. You know what? Let me show you that too since we're here. All right. So here's a rounded box. So say I have a rounded box and all I want is one rounded edge on it, right? Let's do this. Go to shape, new rectangular shape on top of that. And I'm going to snap this into the corners. So now I have a good back end on it. And actually, let's do it this way. So I want my box to actually be about this size. All right, there we go. So I use a square box for the back corner, select all, format, shapes and lines, unite shapes. So now that back end is square. Now I need this front end to be square. Shape. And I'm going to align that to the corners. And it snaps to the corners for you with Keynote. Does a lot of the hard work for you. Then format, shapes and lines, unite shapes. All right. So now we have the Bradley bubble shape. And now we can snap it into the corner, right? All right. So now we have the shape in the corner now. We're going to add our elements to it and then animate it. So I'm going to open up my object palette. And the first thing is my text, right? So I'm doing a hashtag, but I'm going to do my new hashtag. Keep creating. That's my new hashtag. All right. Black, bold. All right. So that's my first bubble thing I'm going to do, right? So now you have to decide, how do I want my bubble to show up? Do I just want my text to show up, or do I want my bubble to appear on the screen? Right. So the way I have mine now is static, but I'm going to show you a few more steps. So first I'm going to animate in the bubble. So move in. Oh, not that. Build in, move in. Bottom to top. Right, preview. And no bounce. There we go. All right. Then I'm going to pop in my text. So I'm going to click it, go to build in, and I'm going to pop it in. All right. And build order. So the shape moves in, then keep creating pops in. And let's play those. Move in, pop in. All right, so there we go. So we have a move and a pop. Is that an animate? Yeah. All right, so there we go. So that's the first thing to my sidebar, right? Move in, pop in. So now I want to have other bars do stuff, right? So to do that, I'll copy my shape. I can option drag in my shapes palette, right? And those shapes need to be on the top because animations are backwards. The first thing needs to be on the bottom of your list so the other stuff will cover it up, right? So the next shape, let's make it a different color. Let's make it gold. And we'll have it wipe in. You know what? Let's put some graphics on it too. Let's copy paste that. We'll say, let's call this one my website. And I'm going to group those two pieces. Select both of them in group because I want them to animate together, right? So the bubble slides up, my keep creating pops in, and then we're going to have this group of stuff wipe in. So animate, add an effect, wipe in, right? So now let's set all those up. So move first, then next, after build 1, then next after build 2, after 2 seconds. All right, so let's watch it. Slide up, name pops in 2 seconds later and wipes in, right? So that's my bar. Essentially, that's the basics of my bar. So now, if I want the next thing to do something, I just basically copy that group. So I can option drag to copy the group, put it on top, and I'll call it group number 2. And I'm going to open it up and just change the color of my shape. All right. Go back to that group again, animate, and we're going to animate it in the opposite direction. All right. And so that wipe, because I copied it, it has all the attributes of the last one, right? So that's group 1, then group 2. And as you see over here in my object list, the things are listed backwards, right? So the last thing to animate needs to be on top. And the first thing to animate needs to be on the bottom so you can see everything animate, right? So now let's preview this. Slide up, name pops in, slide, slide, right? And so I always like to make my animations seamlessly rotate. So what I have to do now is make it go back to the first bubble, right? So let's do that real quick. So we have the first shape comes in, keep creating, boom, boom, right? So what we have to do now is make things leave. So how we do that? We're going to click on regular group first. We're going to go to action, build out, animate, build out, and we'll just have it disappear. That's no big deal because nobody will see it disappear anyway. So we have it disappear. Then we're going to have group 2 wipe itself away, right? To reveal the bottom thing again. So we're going to go to build out, wipe, and from the left is fine because it wiped in from the right. So green bar, pop name, yellow, red, yellow disappears, red wipes away, and then we're back to the gold again, right? So we'll go here to disappear, That's fine right after that's done. And then we'll have this one wipe away 2 seconds. So let's play that. Wipe, wipe. The yellow one disappeared. Wipe, right? And it goes back to green. So if this was a rotation, right? Now, what would happen now? Because at the end of the rotation, the green is up. But at the beginning of my animation, the green wasn't there. So what we have to do now is make now the green go away, right? And the keep creating go away. So now we're going to have the keep creating. We're going to have it build out. You can have it build out like it built in with a pop. And then we'll have that shape build out, move out, top to bottom. No bounce, right? And so now we'll play these. So keep creating, we'll leave. Let's give it 1 second. And then that'll go away as soon as that one's done. So let's play these now. Pop up, keep creating, slide, slide, slide to go away, keep creating goes away, bubble goes down, right? So now when I export this as a video and I turn on rotation, it's going to slide up, animate, slide down, slide up, animate, slide down. Now you can change any of these things along the way because on mine used to pop up, but I don't have it pop up anymore. All you have to do is not do the slide up anymore, right? So that's how you would kind of change that animation. So it's always on the screen, unless you don't want it on the screen, but it doesn't always pop in and out and getting on your nerves. So that's a good way to do that. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if that was helpful for you. If it was too fast or something, if you have specific questions about it, I can definitely help you out. But that's basically the Bradley bubble in a nutshell, right? It's a curved edge rectangle with animated text inside of it. At its core, that's what it is, right? And you'll see it kind of play itself out here. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and like I said, I don't mind showing you how to do whatever I have. I mean, because this is in my store too, but it's a curved edge rectangle. So that's basically, and quite honestly, that's what that's all my store is really there for, is for people that I've already taught them how to do it, but if they still think it's too hard, or just to say, hey, I don't feel like building it, they can just go buy one from the store. But yeah, but that's basically what it is. It's a curved edge rectangle with pieces that slide in and out. And as you see in my version, the bar never leaves the screen, right? I just have the stuff slide in and out, go back to the original, and then it's rotating at that point, right? But it looks seamless because there's no hiccups, there's no jump starts, right? So that's what you want to make sure. That's one thing you really want to make sure that you do whenever you're doing an animation. Think about if that animation was continuously rotating, how would it look, right? So if you make everything come onto the screen and then don't figure out a way for it to leave the screen, when that thing rotates, it's going to be a jump start every time. Stuff's just going to disappear, then start up again. You want to have everything come on and go off the screen, or start off on screen and just animate, right? Then it never has to leave, and the rotation doesn't look jumpy, right? Because as you see right now, this is a very small file, but it's rotating like it's 100 minutes long. Cool. Glad that was helpful. Glad I'm being helpful to y'all. Yeah, but if there are any other questions, any other things that you guys have seen in my broadcast or whatever else that you have questions about, something that I wanted to show you all. What do I want to show y'all? I was working on what's called a stinger transition, right? Which is basically kind of a I did a mid-roll kind of thing where I'm not sure if I have that in my, I call it the mid-roll. Let's see if I can find that real quick. I'm gonna show you my mid-roll. See if I can find one. Yeah, here we go. All right. So I'll show you all this. Let's go back to Keynote. So this is my mid-roll, right? And I've made some edits to this one, so hopefully this one still works right. So let's see if we can play it through. Play it again real quick. So this is kind of an animation that you can play at any point during your video, right? Kind of as a mid-roll scene breaker and things like that, right? So the black parts that you see are actually transparent, right? And this little thing that I just built kind of as a mid-video commercial, right? And let me export this to show you how it actually works. So File, Export, Movie. Turn that off. Apple ProRes, 0, 0. Next. That's fine. You see how I save everything in my live roll junk jar, right? Junk drawer. All right, so here we go. So this is how it works. So like I'm just talking during my video. Oh, let me put on my full-time video. Let's go back here. All right, put it in this one. So I'm basically just in my video and this little commercial pops up while I'm talking. I don't even make reference to it while I'm talking. It's just kind of a mid-roll commercial, right? To kind of show what's going on and to remind people to subscribe or to follow me. So I built that as kind of a mid-roll type of thing, just to break up the monotony of it. You can add it to another scene, especially if you're in eCamm, add it to a scene with an invisible timer. So it'll periodically show up during your broadcast. Don't call attention to it. Just let it play as a little scene breaker, right? So things like that are also possible by making, little videos with Keynote. And it's just a simple little video. Let me turn this one off because that's not where I meant to put it. All right. So that's kind of a scene breaker, little graphic you can make, a little video you can make just to break up your video, right? Appreciate you, Cedric. Yeah, so that's the mid-roll. I call it a mid-roll CTA or mid-roll call to action that you can just use periodically throughout your broadcast and do different things like that. So a good way to even make that show up, especially if you're kind of like me, right? I really only have two scenes. The scene you see right now, and I have a scene where I am my teaching scene, right? Where I'll have Keynote or Canva or whatever else I'm teaching from. So these are basically my two scenes. So how I would do that is I would have a duplicate of this scene in eCamm. And on my first scene, I'd put a little invisible timer of about, 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And just while I'm talking, that invisible timer is running. And then when it gets to the end of that invisible timer, it automatically goes to a duplicate scene that looks just like the scene that I'm in, but that has that animation in it, right? So I don't have to click any buttons and like that. It's kind of a station break, right? And I keep just rolling on like I am, right? So that's a way to do that, to make it more automated. Or you can just, put it on your Stream Deck and click the button whenever you feel like it. So those are multiple ways you can do things like that. But think about those as you make your videos and ways that you can have like little enhancer graphics along the way for calls to action, reminders, things to help people remember what's going on, like maybe this, which are the other shows that we have coming up on the eCamm channel. You have my show, you have Showrunner, you have the podcast hour. You have, as I mentioned, showrunner. You also have the stream show, have go live now. So these are all influencers in the eCamm software universe or eCamm community. And we all do videos during the week to show you how to do different things to enhance your broadcast. So see something like that, right? It's like kind of a little call to action, animates in, and when it's done, right? So you want to think about things like that to enhance your video um, and make it more interactive for your audience, right? So always think about little things like that you can do for your videos. All righty then. All right, y'all. Appreciate that, Cedric. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just love hanging out with y'all, man, and kind of showing y'all new stuff and taking in ideas that you may have about things you're trying to do. So if you have any questions or anything you're working on right now, I'd love to kind of help you out with your graphics for that. Let's see. Uh, cool. Let's see what we got here. It's all good. Kombucha. Hey, if you have any questions, anything you're working on right now, so that was a great tip that you had telling people about the new outline in Canva. I'm actually going to be doing a tutorial on that to kind of walk people through how to find it, how to use it, and how to make it an outline versus that faded line thing, right? Because they don't even really tell you that how to edit it to make it a line instead of a fade, right? And so I jumped in the day and did some quick stuff with it, but I'm gonna do a tutorial for people on that too. Let's see what you got here. I'm a novice and a newcomer to this. Yeah, so you can't use custom lower thirds in directly into Zoom, right? It's not going to let you load graphics. You can do screen shares and stuff like that, right? But I'm guessing because you're in this eCamm graphics workshop, you're using eCamm as your virtual camera into Zoom, right? So whatever graphics you bring into eCamm, you're bringing them into Zoom. And I actually helped somebody make a custom lower third that's Zoom compatible, right? And actually, yeah, let me show you this real quick too. Let me see if I can find that Zoom. So this is something I made for someone else, right? But I'm just going to show them to you real quick, show you one of them, and then I'll see if I can find the Keynote file. So what I did, and let me turn off my bar. Right. So as you see here on that far, and I'm not Pastor Jasper Williams, this is a bar I did for him, right? But on this far side over here, you see that's black, right? Or a fade from black. And then just a little bit over, I have a real, a designed lower third. Now, because in Zoom, now this is if you're running the meeting, because you can change people's names and stuff, right? But say I'm hosting the Zoom or I'm coming into a Zoom and I'm anticipating that person not changing my name for me. At minimum, you have to have at least one character in your name in Zoom. And Zoom automatically puts a black bar or a dark gradient bar behind your name, right? So in Zoom, we just made the name a period or an at symbol, right? And then this little extra black on the side covers up that gray box that's behind that dot. And now my lower third is compatible with Zoom and it's designed. So even if I resize my window in Zoom and I'm like one of 30 people, or if I'm the full screen, because it's going to resize me, right? And that little gray box is going to resize, right? It's never going to really get any bigger than that black area I have to the far left of the screen. So you can actually have custom zoom lower thirds. There's a way to do it. It took me a little work to kind of work that out. But yeah, because in Zoom, there's a requirement. You have to have a name, but it doesn't say how long your name has to be. So just use a dot or an at symbol, right? And then make part of your designed lower third what your at symbol is. So the little at will show up over here. And then I would have BV Teaches for my Twitter account, right? It's part of my graphic. So there's ways to do really custom things. Just kind of have to think about the apparatus and how that works and how you can make your graphics fit. Because if I use the bubble that you see right now, you would see black on the side and whatever text I typed in as my name. So that's going to be a given, right? So just design around that. And there's a way to do that, right? Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing some Canva tutorials. I have some other videos I must shoot first that I've promised to someone. Yeah, but we're going to be doing some cool Canva videos, making overlays and lower thirds and intro animations and stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty fun. All right, let's see what you got here. I'm working on an overlay to announce the channel memberships. I want to make something simple with text, but can't decide between a lower third versus a sidebar. The pros and cons to each, right? Okay, so lower third, which is the lower third of the screen, right? They are likely to be less obtrusive into your video screen, right? Because I don't have to move physically for my lower third to look right. I can sit here comfortably and do what I want to do. Don't have to worry about stuff potentially covering up my face or it's too tight on me and I have to jiggle around, right? Case in point, if I play the sidebar promo animation for other upcoming shows on eCamm, but I've already kind of fixed these, right? So I can still stay where I am and it's sliding in, right? So there's no negative or positive to each one as long as you design them to fit you on the screen. So right now you have these large sidebars popping in, but they don't affect how I look on the screen, right? Because we're sharing the space well based on how they're designed. The lower third, as you see right here, is popping in without a real issue, right? So you have to just consider them that way. Either one will work, depends on what you're trying to do and how much content you're trying to show at one time, right? So if you're just mostly, if it's kind of a Streamlabs thing, right? I usually have those showing up over here. If I get a subscription or something like that, it'll show up as an animation over here, which is basically a sidebar. Because I have my own graphics dedicated to my lower third area, which I want to have them always there and recognizable by people. So it's kind of as you lay out your video, kind of figure out where you want those things to fit with you on the screen is probably the best way. Now, this is what I would do is make a screen capture of myself on the screen, which is what I call my secret weapon graphic. Bring it in and then see how those different things are going to pop on screen with you there. So you don't have to do a bunch of troubleshooting, right? And just kind of see what the layout looks like around you. But there's not necessarily a pro or a con to either. Just want to see how they look with you on the screen. And if it's a lot of content, a sidebar might be better, right? Because it's almost like a sheet of paper sitting on the side of the screen where more content can go in it. Versus the lower third, you don't maybe want to go over 2 lines, maybe 3, depending on the size of the text, right? So you have to want to consider all those things. Yes, yes. Use that secret weapon. It's the easiest and best, I feel, layout tool for your graphics. A screen cap, because that's where everything is going to be, right? By using a picture of yourself as the backdrop when you start designing. So yeah, don't overlook that simple thing. It's such a simple thing that most people don't think there's a lot of value in it, but it's the simplicity that makes it so valuable, right? All right, y'all. So hopefully I've been helpful with y'all so far. If you have any more questions, we still got about 15 more minutes left. So I want to be able to answer whatever you guys have. And kind of work it from there. Let me see if I have any more questions. I don't want to miss anybody. Uh, all right, scrolling through. Cool, cool, cool. All right, y'all. I don't mind ending early, but I don't like to end early. I want to kind of give you guys all the time I can and make the most of the hour. So if you have anything else that you're thinking about, let me know. Let me see if I can pull in. Let's see. Let me show y'all something. Uh, hmm. This is something I was working on that I thought was kind of cool. I was doing, where are they at? And we'll see if these are actually PNG files. I'm not sure if I made PNG files or not. Oh, I did. Okay. Here's something that I was working on that I thought was cool because in eCamm, right? In eCamm, you can do camera overlays. So I created what I call mats, right? Which lets you do all kinds of like, let me turn this bottom thing off, right? That lets you do all kinds of cool stuff with just real funky layouts, right? So yeah, it looks like I'm in jail right now, but think about it this way, right? So let's go to camera and edit overlay. I'm gonna go custom. So say I can make this camera fit here. Uh-oh. All right, so I have a camera here, but then let's say we want to do something else that's not all cameras, right? So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna add text with a background. Right, so I can add text and then have screens in the background, do different stuff like that. Let me do this real quick. So now you can do different stuff like that and change the text size and have different things fill in different boxes. So, and even that, right? So now if I put the text box under my picture, right? So now you can even do different things like that and move the text boxes around and have different screens of color and all kinds of cool stuff like that. And so you can make all these kind of different layouts, right? And so you can create all these kind of crazy things. I know this is looking wild right now, but you can put different things in different boxes, put another video in another box, put other people in other boxes. And so I just wanted to have people kind of think about crazy layouts they can do with guests and or content, right? So you can always put different content in the different boxes. You can put text boxes and different stuff. Um, right? So I can do that, then drag it under there, right? So you can do all this kind of stuff and have different guests in different boxes, kind of like the, Brady Bunch stuff or whatever you want to do. And so I've been working on these kind of just crazy mats that can be used with all kinds of different things, right? So that's something else I'm just kind of playing with right now to give people ideas and new ways to think about doing layouts for their broadcast, right? So even if I'm in the big window and then there's some text in another window or a picture in another window and just different things you can do, right? You don't always have to think about oh, okay, let me make a couple of rectangles in a lower third, and that's my broadcast, right? You can do all kinds of different things, have different news things popping up in different windows. You can play a video in another window while you're still on screen in a creative way. So, just things that I want people to think about as they're doing different layouts and things, right? So, hopefully, I didn't bore you, but I just want to kind of show you those things. Um, yeah, I mean, I have, what's funny is that I have 50 of those. I have 50 different kind of mat designs that I was working on, and they're kind of all kinds of themes and ways to do them, right? Even one that looks like that, so I can be in the middle or have six guests, right? And just do little color bars here with me in the middle, and so it's all these different kind of looks you can do. Um, or I could put text in a box, right? And have just a color fill in a box, right? To add different accents to myself. So there's all kinds of things you can do, but I have 50 of those that I've kind of worked out. I don't have it up in the store and like that, right? But it's there. Um, right, exactly, right. So you can use those different layouts and kind of have you as the broadcaster, right? And even so, say if you're a sports guy and I have a mat that has big on one side and three or four other little windows, right? You could be in one window and then have clips from a football game, a basketball game, and a baseball game, or three different football games, right? And you can telestrate them. And so it's all kinds of different things you can do. I'm trying to figure out, yeah, because it's just kind of just weird. Here's one. Let me show you this one. This is kind of a little bit more conventional, right? So I could put myself here in the middle, then have, weather on the side, and then another person talking, So it could be you and three guests, and then something in that top corner has the time and the date and the subject, right? Or put some kind of graphic in the middle with you and three other guests around it. So there's all kinds of things you can think about when you do those, right? And I'm going to have the Keynote file version of these available where people can make them whatever color they want, or put a picture in the background or whatever they want to do, right? So that's just kind of stuff that what my crazy mind is always thinking about, right? But those will be available at some point. We'll see how that goes. All right, y'all. But I definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Yeah, see something right. And so it's all these different things, right? So all these different things you can do because you're thinking about it with as different windows now, and you're not just saying, "Oh, I have this big rectangle that I'm sitting in." But now the mats help you think about, okay, wow, I can put 8 windows, or I can do different things, or it could just be a little box with color in it, right? That's screened that just adds an accent to your video, right? So there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with that for sure. Right. Because yeah, exactly. Because there's actually photo collage apps, right? You're exactly right. That has these kind of window configurations, right? Or kind of comic book configurations, right? And you can do those different things. So obviously, you just said comic. I just said comic book, and it made me think about using the emoji, right? Live in your broadcast. So you bring yourself in with your emoji head, put a cartoon filter on it, and now you have these different squares, and now it's kind of cartoon style, right? And now you have other accents you can use, like boom and pow and stuff like that, to kind of go along with that whole theme, right? And you can kind of lay yourself out in a comic book versus just a rectangle, right? Because what I'm doing is tutorials and teaching, so this format is probably what's best for me. But showing other people how to do uh, those things is what we can use, right? All right, y'all. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to do is kind of show you guys some different things. Kind of, like I said, keep creating, right? Keep thinking of different things you can do with your video. Not to the point of being cheesy, right? But graphics to enhance what you're doing. So this one gentleman was a magician, right? So he wanted to do a curtain coming up. But why not stay on stage after the curtain comes up, right? So your overlay kind of looks like a stage, or maybe stage lights kind of, has that look to it or whatever, right? So think about all those kind of different things to enhance your videos. All right, y'all. I think it's getting close to wrap up time, but I definitely appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me and being here. This has been a great time as it always is, and I will be back again next week. I'm just going to kind of hold here for any last minute questions. And I know a couple of things we'll mention. Okay, widgets. Yeah, we can even talk about maybe next week how to customize some of the widgets that Streamlabs has, because now I know eCamm is working better. Well, Streamlabs is working better with eCamm. eCamm was always working, but it's just like some of those Streamlab widgets were kind of hit and miss. But eCamm worked through some things, and now most of them should now be smooth running. So I might revisit that, talking about how to create custom graphics for use in widgets and kind of adding those to your stream. So we can definitely kind of think about those things also. Um, appreciate that, y'all. Appreciate the kind words. Thank y'all for coming and giving me your time. I know time is important, and for you guys to actually come give me your time, it's cool. I definitely appreciate that. Uh, cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, and we can always back up and kind of show more basic things. I mean, for sure, go to my channel, and I have a whole series of tutorials. Some are longer than others. I'm starting to shoot more short tutorials to kind of get in there, show you how to do it, jump out. And so definitely check those out. And if any of those kind of give you problems where you can't work through them, jump into the form. I usually have a form attached to this event every week. Jump in the form, ask your questions there. If you have more detailed things you want me to go look at, even, and they'll be in the queue for me to answer those questions first, right? So you don't want to miss out on getting your questions answered. If it's even something you're working on through the week that you don't want to forget, jump in, use the form, and submit your question that way, and I can definitely get to them, because I always get to those people first, right? Um, let's see, widget graphic would be great. Cool. Appreciate your evening report. Yeah, but we can definitely work on some widget graphics. We would do them in Keynote or Canva. Well, Keynote, because Keynote would actually let you export with transparency. Canva won't, as an animation anyway. And yeah, we can make those as GIF animations and drag those into Streamlabs, and I can show you how to do that for sure. So I'll add that to my queue list for next week of things to talk about for sure. Cool. Okay, so widgets is going to be that thing that people are mentioning. So I'm gonna write down widgets right now in my notes. Widgets, and I'll make sure I add that to next week's broadcast. So bring your widget questions. I'll probably be working with Streamlabs, which is kind of the universal widget hub. So I'm going to work with that one and incorporate that into the eCamm interface. So yeah, so definitely come back for that. Let's see what we got here. Keynote is cool. Indeed, it is. Keynote is cool. Thank you, Kombucha. I always like it when I see my fam come in and kind of hang out with me. All right. Good to see you. Tekla. Tekla. So good to see you. All right, y'all. Appreciate that, Cedric. All right, y'all. We're just crossing into the 3 o'clock hour. I'm going to be quiet for a few seconds to give you guys a chance to make any last comments that you may have. And we're going to close this out. But if you have a last minute question, let me know. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, brother. Oh, here's the funny thing. I didn't actually get a birth date this year. That's the best way to say it. My birthday is February 29th. So when people were saying happy birthday on the 28th, I'm definitely am gracious for them, grateful for that because it's the end of the month. 20th is the end of the month. Some people were telling me happy birthday on March 1st because if we had 29 days this year, that would physically be my birthday, right? It'd be February 29th instead of March 1st. So I'm happy to get a birthday wish whenever I get it. I am definitely very appreciative of it. So thank you for that. Thank you all for your support that you have given me of my channel, of me, and of the tutorials and the different things that I do. My Gumroad store, just the way that you guys are supporting me is awesome. And I definitely don't want to miss this opportunity to thank you all for your support. So I definitely appreciate y'all for that. And thank you so much. So with that, I will say I am Bradley Vinson, aka Bradley Teaches, aka Alana's Pawpaw. Be blessed, be free. It's always good to see y'all. Be good to yourselves, be good to one another, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.